Check 1, 2. So let's get right into it. So I'm gonna play a story that proves something that everyone should know and that you should understand, particularly people that claim that they're Christian. So the Bible is not about religion, but religions were created from the Bible. So let me say that again. The Bible is not about religion. Religions were created from the Bible. Religions are a cult group. The Bible doesn't teach the creation of cult groups. Stand by. So yeah, the Bible itself is not about creation of cult groups. What you have today in modern Christianity is a cult group. Is basically, particularly in the United States, is a white supremacist, fascist, Nazi cult group that has been bastardized, death cult group that has been bastardized from the Bible. In this story that I'm about to play, this proves that point. So let's get right into it.
He's doing is a mistake. I don't agree with his approach. I think it's outrageous that those three vehicles were hit by drones and taken out on a highway where it wasn't like it was along the shore. It wasn't like there was a convoy moving there, etc. So what I'm calling for is for the Israelis to just call for a ceasefire, allow for the next 6-8 weeks total access to all food and medicine going into the country.
Now, many media figures on both sides of the aisle are voicing their anger at Israel's actions and the slow response from the United States. First, let's listen to what Jon Stewart had to say on his show this week.
See, this is where Israel's actions get interesting, because you might say Israel's war is different than Ukraine's. Israel's responding to an attack and a hostage crisis. But in the midst of that, they pulled a little something in the West Bank on March 22nd that might be notable. That's not even Gaza. That's the West Bank. So you can't say it has anything to do with defending yourself against Hamas. Let's see if America upholds its rule against taking land.
He's referring there to, of course, an unprecedentedly large land grab in the West Bank, which is a clear violation of international law. Here's a little bit more from Jon Stewart.
Why do we tiptoe around on eggshells? They slap America in the face, and our response is, well, if anyone slapped us in the face, it'd be concerning, that's for sure. I mean, raising a hand to a delicate body part of the face, if true. The verbal gymnastics that the American government must undertake so as not to offend the delicate sensibilities of a country we provide most of the weapons for is...
All right, and making some strange bedfellows, Tucker Carlson also weighed in on the conflict as well, critical of the United States' position. Let's take a listen.
And you may be asking yourself, well, wait a second. If Christian leaders won't stand up for the lives of Christians, why have them in the first place? And that's probably a good question. So you would think that in Congress, where there are many self-professed Christians, somebody might be piping up on behalf of their brethren in the Holy Land. But no, just the opposite, in fact. For example, at a town hall event last month, Michigan Congressman Tim Walberg, a former evangelical pastor, said he would like to see the region treated like Hiroshima was treated. Watch this.
We shouldn't be spending a dime on humanitarian aid. It should be like Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
To be clear, as a theological matter, Christianity is not the religion of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's the religion among all world religions that uniquely abhors mass killing. In fact, it is the religion that abhors mass killing. There's no excuse for that from a Christian perspective. Former pastor calling for it.
I'm going to show you why. Never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. Let me say that again. Never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. One, the Bible has nothing to do with white people. That's number one. And two, they are inherently biased. You know, the Bible has a quote that says, "The wicked will not understand." You see, and based on what the Bible is actually about, there's no white person generally that can admit the truth about the Bible. And I'm going to show you why. Okay, what he just said is a lie. He said the Bible does not support mass killing. That is wrong. The Bible is about mass killing, a mass killing that's going to take place, right? In the you must understand that in the return of the so-called Messiah, the messianic figure in the army that was to return and come to, well, that was to appear on the earth from space. That's what he promised to do. He promised to mass kill. You see, that the one you mistakenly call Jesus Christ has promised to mass kill his enemies and the enemies of the organic people of the earth. And I'm going to prove that, right? So Tucker Carlson is a liar. But what Tucker Carlson points out perfectly is what I just said, that these people are not Christians in that sense. You see, they're not Christians is a line of people. It's not a religion. That's spoken of in the Old Testament, New Testament, etc. That's the first things first. Let's just get that out the way. Stand by. So Christian is not a religion. Well, let's put it this way. There's, because I have to nuance these things. Christian is called in the Bible a race of people. And then in modern Christianity, Christian is a religion, right? So they've created a religion called, Christian. But the Christ in the Bible never created the religion. That was created after him. But what I'm going to talk about and get into is exposing this is the Synagogue of Satan. And why? You say, well, why do you say that? These are the Americans, these white people, we have to tell the truth, are the Synagogue of Satan. Well, why is that? Well, let's take a look at it. So here you have a man who's a politician, also a pastor, a Republican man named, whatever his name is, not important, who calls for nuking Jerusalem, Palestine, etc. Right? This man calls for nuking. He's a pastor, supposedly a white Christian head of a church and head of their political structure, right? One of the heads of their churches, one of the heads of their political structure. What is this white man calling for? This white so-called political and religious head is calling for nuking basically the birthplace of his so-called religion, Christianity. Does that make sense? Do I need to play it again? Let's play it again. Let's play it again.
In the Holy Land, but no. Just the opposite, in fact. For example, at a town hall event last month, Michigan Congressman Tim Walberg, a former evangelical pastor, said he would like to see the region treated like Hiroshima was treated. Watch this.
We shouldn't be spending a dime on humanitarian aid. It should be like Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
You can't make this shit up. So here you have the head of a church and a political representative calling for nuking Palestine, right? For nuking Jerusalem. Basically, if you nuke Gaza, you nuke the West Bank. Well, you're nuking Jerusalem. You're nuking the home of Christianity, right? The birthplace of Christianity. Why would a Christian, so-called Christian, who is a leader of, a country, part of the leadership head structure of a country, and the so-called head of a church, Christian church, if he is a, so-called Christian, let's just pretend, right? Like I said, white people have nothing to do with the Bible. He proves it, right? Why would they call for nuking Palestine, the birthplace of Christ? I mean, I'm not making, you heard him say it. I'm not making, it's not like I'm putting words in his mouth. And this is how most of them feel. Like, this is the type of shit that they say. They're like, yo, we need to nuke these, Arabs over here in Palestine. Well, you do, and they say, well, I'm a Christian. Well, you do know that's where Christianity comes from. don't you? So you support a group of white Europeans, Israelis, who colonized that land and attacked the indigenous population. You support them nuking the place where your so-called religion comes from. Make it make sense. And this is what they say in lockstep. Yeah, we need to nuke this place. I'm on my way to church. What? You on your way to church? What kind of church? Oh, this is a Christian church. But you want to nuke the place in that you got a Bible in that church? Yeah, we got Bibles. Okay. And so the places in that Bible that your religion is based upon, let me get this right. You is the so-called Jesus Christ and all that, and it comes, that's Palestine, Jerusalem, Gaza, West Bank, all that area. Yeah. So you want to nuke that? Yeah, we want to nuke it and kill the people. So kill the indigenous people. Yeah, well, you do know those indigenous people that you're going to nuke and kill for some Israeli Jews, some Euro Jews. You do know those are the indigenous people. They're probably more directly related to so-called Jesus Christ than the people that you're going to help nuke those people, don't you? Yeah, but we don't care. We don't care about that. Oh, you don't care about that? No, we just want to nuke the Arabs. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, we don't care. We just want to nuke. We're fanatics. See, we're racist, white supremacist, Nazi fanatics. So none of that matters, sir. None of what you're saying matters. We don't care about logic. We don't care about history. We don't care about Christianity, wink, wink. We want to nuke these Arabs. We'll nuke Palestine, Israel. We'll blow it all up if we can't have it. Because we're insane. We're Nazi maniacs. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Now that makes sense. Got you. Now that makes sense that you want to nuke the place where your so-called religion comes from, because you're not what you have is not based on the Bible. You're not a Christian. Christian is a race of people. Christian would be some of those Arabs over there. You see that you want to nuke, Mr. Congressman, Pastor. You see. Now it makes sense. But let's show you who these people really are real quick. I don't want to make this too long, right? But you have to look at you have to peel back the fanaticism and the insanity, right, of these Nazis, and really to understand who they are, what they are, and how we got here. You have to understand who these Israelis are, why they would be running an apartheid state in Palestine. Why are they massacring people? They blew up churches, but none of the so-called Christians in the United States gave a fuck. Stand by.
And then, him talking about the plight of Christians in the region. Remember the Justin Amash, former member of Congress of Palestinian descent, born in the region, came here as a younger person, talking about Christian family members
Yes.
who were killed by Israeli military action, I believe a drone strike that struck a church. So it is interesting to see that discussed.
Yeah, one of the oldest Greek Orthodox churches has been bombed in the world. The birthplace of Jesus was bombed by Israel on Christmas Day. I mean, these are stories that the news outlets that are willing to cover what's been going on for the last 6 months and change now in Gaza are not news. What is news is seeing a media figure like Tucker Carlson coming around to reporting on it. Now,
exactly. So these people bombed their own churches. Does that make sense? So you have Christians that are campaigning to bomb Christian churches in America. Make it make sense, right? You have Christians campaigning to bomb Christian churches. How does that make sense? In its context, that they are Christians. So that proves that they're not Christians. What Christian let me ask you a question. If you was really a Christian, it's all about questions and answers, right? So if you was really a Christian, would you want to bomb your own church? It's just like, okay, if I say, well, that's my family's home over there, right? And my family lives in that house and everything like that. And something happens and I say, well, bomb my family's house. Would that make sense? I don't care if they're in there. I know it's my family home, but we can bomb it anyway, right? And destroy it. Why would I do that? If I had any connection to that home or whatever, I say burn it down, bomb it. Why would I want to do something like that? If I had a connection to it, it's because they have zero connection to it. They have zero connection to the Bible, and they already know that. They just waiting. They just hoping you don't figure it out. They're hoping you don't figure it out. They have zero connection to the Bible. I mean, I just proved it. They bomb churches on Christmas. On so-called Christmas. Does that make sense? What kind of Christians would bomb churches on Christmas, on their own so-called holy days? Right? Who would go get a bunch of, Muslims or Jews, right? And then give them weapons and say, listen, can you bomb our churches on our holy day? Sound like the devil to me. Sound like Satan to me, pretending to be something that he's not. Now that makes sense. But it doesn't make sense for a person to say, let's bomb our own churches and burn down our own churches. Why would you do that? If you had any connection to that. Particularly the most historical places in your so-called religion, for lack of, a better explanation. It doesn't make sense. The only way it makes sense is to understand that these people have nothing to do with the Bible. And they're not, what they've created is a racist, fascist, Nazi death cult called Christianity, which is a bastardized form of biblical text, where they bastardized this death cult from a religious text. That's the only way you can explain them calling to bomb their own churches. It makes no sense other than what I've just said. And then also it's biblical prophecy. Let's wrap on that. Let's wrap up with the biblical prophecy. Revelation 2:9, right? It said, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and Christians, but are not, but do lie. I will make them come and worship at thy feet. These are not the people of Christ. The people that they're bombing are the people of Christ. Because Christian is a bloodline, it's a religion. It's not a religion, it's a bloodline, it's a group of people. You see, a Christian would be a bloodline of people, a race of people. Call it what you want. And the people that they're bombing come from that bloodline. The people that are bombing them do not. It's real simple. And it says it right here in this prophecy. Right? They are the synagogue of Satan. That's why this so-called pastor and political representative wants to nuke churches and nuke the Holy Land where his so-called religion comes from. He wants to nuke those buildings, the oldest churches in his religion. Really? Make it make sense. Why would he want, if that was really his people, his religion, why would he want to nuke it? Like Nagasaki. Why? Why would you want to do that, sir? Because you have nothing to do with that and you know it. You're a fucking maniac. You're a white, racist, Nazi maniac. Pretending to be something that you're not. You see, you're a part of the synagogue of Satan. You work with the synagogue of Satan. You are the synagogue of Satan. You are a member of the synagogue of Satan. I mean, how else would you want to explain people trying to bomb churches on Christmas and killing Christians and not standing up for Christians. That's very American. That's a very American thing. You never want to be an American Christian. That's the worst thing in the world to be. They kill their own people, right? They bomb their own churches. So the worst thing you could ever be in the world is an American Christian. But the Negro want to be an American and a Christian in America. The Negro is a horrible excuse for a human, you see, if he subscribes to that kind of thing, right? And gets in bed with these people who blaspheme God with their every move of their hand, right? With every breath that comes out their body. They destroy churches on Christmas. And you say, this is my friend. These your friends? What's wrong with you? Right? These my brethren. They're not my brethren. Knock that off. Right? Because if I was a Christian, I wouldn't get in bed with people who claim to be Christian but then kill Christians and bomb Christian churches. That would be abominable to me. You see, I wouldn't want to be integrated with them, with people doing stuff like that. Let's move on. Right now, let's deal with something. Let's deal with something Tucker Carlson said. He said, to show you that you never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. He said the Bible is against mass killing. Wrong. Let's look at that. Let's take a look at that. Stand by. Tucker Carlson said the Bible is against mass killing. Tucker Carlson is a liar. When you lie on the Bible, it said, I believe it says, if you lie on the Bible, you shall be destroyed. Right? I'll pull that up in a minute. Isaiah 66:16, right? For by fire and by his sword will the Lord of hosts plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Tucker Carlson, I thought you said the Bible was against mass killing. Tucker Carlson is a liar. You see, that's why the Bible said, and he was a liar. He's of Satan. He was a liar and a murderer from the beginning. It was talking about Tucker Carlson and his people, right? The slain of the Lord, Tucker Carlson, shall be many, and his sword shall plead with your flesh very soon. You see? So you are a liar. Let's keep going. Here we have a direct quote from Jesus Christ, Luke 19:27. Sorry. But those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. See, the slain of the Lord shall be many. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. What did he just say before that, right? The slain of the Lord shall be many. And he said, bring all of those, right? Bring all of those people in America and in Israel and in Europe and in Colombia and Mexico and in Hawaii and Canada. Bring them all who said that I shouldn't rule and slay them before me. He's telling somebody to slay them. He's talking to his army. It's a prediction of what he's going to tell his army. He's going to say, go into all of these nations and bring them and bring them under me. And anybody that don't want to kneel and bow, slay them. See, that's going to be many. We already know the Israelis is not going to go along with that because they are the synagogue of Satan. They don't believe, they will never bow to Christ. We know the Americans bow to the Israelis, so we know they will never bow to Christ, right? So we know is what? How many millions that will never bow in Israel? How many tens of millions will not bow in America? How many say, I'm an atheist. I would never bow. I would never go along with these rules, right? What are the rules? Things like don't be a homosexual, don't eat pork, right? Don't be a transsexual. Well, that's people that will say, listen, I don't have to listen to this. I'm going to do whatever I want. I will take up armed struggle against that, right? He said, listen, he's going to say, listen, that you can't have oil companies. You can't have these oil companies, these these for-profit hospitals. All that's will get wiped out. So all of these people, they'll say this guy's a communist and a socialist. Kill him. We have to fight him, right? They're gonna obviously fight the one called Christ, the Messiah. So he says the slain, they'll never, right? They'll never allow him to reign over them. They'll say nuke him. Get the nukes. Get the tanks. Get the aircraft carriers. We have to nuke this Christ and his army. And so that's why he sent his army out, and he'll say, slay them before me. Slay them all. You see? That's why the Bible says, and 2/3 shall die and be cut off. Let's do that one next. See, Tucker Carlson is a liar. You never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. Zechariah 13. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, in America, in Europe, in Israel, in Africa, in Canada, in Mexico, in Colombia, in Brazil, in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall cut off and die, right? But the third shall be left therein. In America, there's 300 million people, right? If you kill 2/3 of them, there's only 100 million left. You understand? 2/3 shall die and be cut off. Why? The other 2 scriptures I just read you, the prophecies tell you why. And I just explained to you why. The Bible doesn't contradict itself. It's because they will say, to hell with that. I'm not giving up my oil companies. I'm not giving up these hospitals. I'm not giving up being a tranny. I'm not giving up being a homosexual, right? I'm not giving up being a Nazi, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody tell me what to do. I'm an independent woman. I eat ham sandwiches, whatever, right? They're gonna say, fuck this guy. And he gonna release the Kraken. You see, he gonna send in the army. And 2/3 shall die at that point and then be cut off. They shall slay them before Christ. Tucker Carlson is a liar. Never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. Jesus Christ is a mass. He's gonna make what they're doing in Gaza look like a day at the park. He's gonna make what's happening, what they're doing in Gaza, look like a day in the park. Based on what these writings say. 2/3 shall die and be cut off. There's only going to be 100 million. There's going to be an exodus out of the United States. And it's only going to be maybe 100 million people left that get to leave alive. Tucker Carlson probably won't be one of them, him and his family. You see? Why? Because the Bible says so. It said 2/3 shall die and be cut off. It's not going to be people lying on the Bible like Tucker Carlson, obviously. And his friend, the pastor in Politico, who called for bombing the home of so-called Jesus Christ and blowing up churches on Christmas. Do you think these people are going to be part of the 2/3 or not? Obviously, they're going to be part of the 2/3, and they're going to die and be cut off. Either that, or the Bible is fake, and the Lord is not a man of his word. You see? Let's keep going. There's more. Joel 2:20, right? And I will drive away the armies from the north, and I will send them into the parched wastelands. Those in the front will be driven into the Dead Sea, and those at the rear into the Mediterranean Sea. And the stench of their rotting bodies will rise over the lands. Surely the Lord has done a great thing. You see? This is a prophecy. He said he saw them drive all of the armies into the oceans and be killed, right? They will be beaten down and driven out and killed. But Tucker Carlson said the Bible, there's no mass killings in the Bible. The whole Bible is a war zone. The last days that are upon Tucker Carlson and his people and the Synagogue of Satan and the people of the earth who follow them, right? What's waiting for them is what Tucker Carlson said wasn't. Right? They are deluded. It's going to be a war zone. soon on the earth. And there ain't going to be no rapture. You see? You got to fight your way out. Right? You're going to have to blood in, blood out. You're going to have to fight your way out. You see? So Tucker Carlson is a liar. Never listen to white people when it comes to the Bible. They know nothing. And if they do know it, they're not going to tell the truth because they can't. They're bound by their hypocrisy and their lies. You see? They're bound up in it. You see? They curse themselves now. There's no way out. That's why they calling for bombing churches. You said, well, this man is a Christian. Why would he call for bombing the church? I just read it to you. Then these are the Synagogue of Satan. These are the followers of the Antichrist. You see? Let's end on Thessalonians. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So Tucker Carlson was wrong. The slain of the Lord shall be many, and he shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. What does that mean? He shall give an order to the army, right, to destroy them when he comes. That's what that's telling you. The wicked shall be revealed. Well, who is the wicked? I already revealed that. You see who the wicked is. The people, the wicked would be the people that are killing the descendants of Christ in Palestine. The wicked would be the people claiming to be Christians and Jews, but they not. They have nothing to do with the Bible. That would be the wicked. The people in America, the wicked Americans that claim to be a Christian, but then call for bombing churches and Christians on Christmas in the so-called Holy Land. That would be the wicked. They have been revealed. You see, the wicked have been revealed. They revealed themselves now. Everybody sees it on the college campuses in Israel and Gaza and Colombia and Mexico, right? In America and Canada. The wicked has been revealed. All we need now is the coming of the Messiah and the armies. What does it say? And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. He shall give an order to kill them and destroy them with the brightness of his coming. Thessalonians 2:8. That's a prophecy that's taking place now. So I don't really think it's no more on that. I squeezed the juice out of that. So I'm going to leave it right there. That's all I got.